Okay, everything's set up for the campaign game. Just get some thoughts before we start. We are going to be using all the optional campaign rules. Well, we're not going to use naval hidden movements, that's pointless as I'm playing solo. I'll be using all the others. So I'll be using commerce raiding, Napoleon's flight to Paris, weather, typhus epidemic, the lines of Torres Vedras, rules for Nelson. I'll think about, no, we'll play optional demoralisation, even though I'll have to read up on it. Okay, now strategically, looking at the game, unfortunately, the naval moves are probably really important in this first turn. Now, I don't see any point, because the French aren't going to attempt to invade England. I don't see any point whatsoever in reproducing a Battle of Trafalgar, especially when the odds are against the French, because British fleets have a higher morale at 2 compared to 1 to the French, and they also have Nelson that gives a bonus as well. We have got quite a large French-Spanish fleet in Cadiz, but there are quite a few, there are enough English units hanging around to actually reproduce the Trafalgar disaster. So I'm probably just going to send out some commerce raiders at the start of this, rather than give the British total dominance of the sea from the start of the game, because if you do that, then you're never going to get it back. In terms of the land situation, it's pretty much exactly the same as the Austerlitz thing. Just to remember, be careful in Germany, because there's quite a lot of Prussian satellites here that aren't always obvious. You do not want to violate Prussian neutrality, otherwise you're going to get in a right mess. If Prussia comes into the war early on in the first few turns, it's going to get difficult, very difficult. It is quite possible for the French to lose the campaign in Austria anyway, if the Russians manage to interfere and the Austrians get their act together and sort of retreat and concentrate on Vienna to meet up with the Russians and don't get encircled and destroyed at home. The seasons are dragging on and it can get very, very unpleasant for the French. You don't want to be trapped in the Danube Valley around Vienna with a long supply line in winter. So the idea with the French, they've really got to launch pretty much a devastating attack on Austria, and as quickly as possible. Apart from that, there isn't a great deal to think about. Obviously, you want to try and use your Spanish units to attack Portugal if you can, before the British can intervene. British have got a slight problem. They've got a lot of their units are stuck in Egypt, and our transports are up in the Channel, so that's going to present us with a little bit of a problem. So that's really it for opening thoughts.